Hi, everybody. My name is Cora, and I am the Vice President of the Student Advisory Council at Just Ask Prevention.
And my name's Annie, and I'm a media chair for the Student Advisory Council.
So today we're going to be talking to you about human trafficking and what exactly that means and what exactly that entails.
There's a hidden crime that silently pervades America's communities, leading people to dismiss these warning signs due to how they appear. A teenager who dresses and acts differently than she did a year ago. Something that looks like textbook prostitution to law enforcement. A strange older boyfriend that seems too good to be true. Sometimes these red flags go unnoticed, and they are all connected to one singular issue: human trafficking. It is a crime that is growing in prominence and is managing to leave little more than a whisper of its existence to the general public, leaving waves of pain and abuse for the broad spectrum of people who are affected. It's important that the teens lost in the shadows are not forgotten.
Following drug dealing as the second largest criminal activity in the world, human trafficking is still a pervasive issue today. The fastest growing crime globally, it is a $150 billion industry annually.
Human trafficking can be broken down into two categories. The first one is sex trafficking, which occurs when commercial sex acts are induced by force, fraud, or coercion, or when the person induced to perform the sex act has not attained the age of 18. A commercial sex act involves something sexual in nature, either in person or online, such as pornography or prostitution done in exchange for any item of value such as money, drugs, shelter, food, clothes, services, or favors. The second category is labor trafficking, which is the use of force, fraud, or coercion to induce an individual to work or provide services. The most common types of labor trafficking include agriculture, domestic work, restaurants, cleaning services, and carnivals.
A sex trafficker is someone who profits from exploiting another human via sexual acts in exchange for anything of value, such as money, food, drugs, or even just a place to sleep. It can also be someone who gives something of value to receive a sex act. And though the word trafficking implies abduction and movement across borders, which is true and can and does happen, victims are often trafficked while they are living in their own homes. They may still be attending school and even seem fine to the outside world.
In fact, an expert detective who specialized in trafficking cases found that most trafficking victims go to school every day and sleep in their own beds. The trafficking occurs when they get out of school until maybe 8 or 9 at night, and oftentimes parents think that the teen is simply out with their friends, boyfriend, or someone else and doesn't realize that their child is actually being exploited. Common types of fronts traffickers use are escort services, pornography, illicit massage businesses, brothels, and outdoor solicitation.
Now, who are those that are exploited? The key thing to remember is that anyone can be a victim, but there are individuals who are more vulnerable, including teens, youth who have run away from home, those experiencing homelessness, children in the foster care system, youth dealing with substance use or addiction, teens who have strained relationship with their parents, and also teens looking for a relationship with someone older.
Trafficked teens are often not bound by ropes and chains like people perceive, but are instead bound by their dependence on their trafficker. Traffickers will sometimes get their victim addicted to drugs so they can take advantage of them and keep them dependent and needing drugs and care. So, what does a trafficker look like? Traffickers often hide in plain sight, blending in with the community. They can range from family members and peers to modeling agencies and gangs, such as MS-13 and Crips. When traffickers pose as trustworthy people, they often pretend to be potential employers and can even be people the victim trusts, like parents and other members of the family. Possible signs of human trafficking include, but are not limited to, inexplicable tattoos, sudden weight loss, exhausted appearance, signs of physical abuse, sudden promiscuity when there wasn't any before, social withdrawal, declining grades and performance in school or extracurricular activities, avoiding eye contact, especially with authority figures and law enforcement, inability to speak to an individual alone. Their answers appear to be scripted and rehearsed. They're living with an employer. Their employer is holding identity documents. They're unpaid or paid very little, and they're living in poor living conditions, including multiple people in a cramped space.
So, what can you do? We challenge you to share this information with at least 3 of your friends. Information is powerful, so you should arm your friends and family with it. And if you see something suspicious or indicative of human trafficking, say something. Traffickers depend on people not speaking up, and you can make a difference by talking to a trusted adult.
If you're interested in learning more on this issue, visit justaskprevention.org. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope you learned something new today and arm yourself with this knowledge to fight against human trafficking.